it, we came.
And we're live. So someone donated that new theme. What's his name? Zero.
Greetings, Captain Spectro.
Yeah.
With a K.
Spectro.
So thanks, Captain. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Hello. I'm here.
Also, Hobbit is there.
Yeah.
Hello.
And this week, Hobbit's still on his mega quiet mic. So you either get booming with echo, or you get quiet and barely hear him.
Oh no, it's not the super quiet mic. It's phone posting.
Oh, you're phone posting tonight.
One of these days, when Hope Not Hate or GCHQ deems it necessary, they'll send me a really nice mic.
You gotta watch out. Gotta watch out for those Hope Not Hate spies, haven't you?
The Hope Not Hates with their Rhodes or their Shure microphones.
Is that how you get a Blue Yeti? Is it join Hope Not Hate?
I mean, I wonder what microphone company George Soros owns Stokes in. I wonder what stonks he has.
What stonks
in audio? Yeah, stonks.
So right, are we gonna do one of our famous warm openings where we talk about a bit of everything?
Yeah, I haven't got anything prepared. I heard about the sparrows on Anglesey that were supposedly poisoned. There's 225. I'm getting an echo.
Steady on Zero. That sounds like content.
I'm getting an echo.
That's Hobbit because he's phone posting.
All right. Well, the mysterious deaths of the starlings, apparently they just flew into the ground, which I find a bit hard to believe. I think that was some sort of sonic weapon myself, but I don't know. It's more North Wales sort of thing. It probably doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but yeah, I'm quite intrigued by it. I keep meaning to go out there and do an outside broadcast, but I can't find exact. It's just like some road, with no name. I can't.
They did try to write it off fairly quickly, the Starling thing, didn't they?
They said it was like poison or something. That's what the police said, or at the start. Yeah, but now they're saying they're like 225 starlings suddenly decided to sort of fly into the concrete and sort of kill themselves. But I ain't buying it. But yeah, it remains to be seen. Yeah.
Well, I've got some news stories from unexplainedmysteries.com. Volcanic eruption turned victims' brains to glass. So that's this dire fate awaited the residents of Herculaneum, where Mount Vesuvius erupted in the year 79. Hobbit, you're our science correspondent. Is that possible? Turning brains to glass?
You said something about Mount Vesuvius, and I realised that I should be. Yeah.
The volcano.
Sorry, come again.
Well, basically, they said the volcanic eruption turned victims' brains into glass.
Cool.
How would that? I mean, the thing is, your brain is it's cholesterol, so it's much like lava. And Vesuvius, when it explodes, I mean, there was hot gas, and I'm thinking all that would happen with hot gases. The bones, well, no, first of all, it's the skin would collapse, be torn, then the bones would break, and then, I mean, what happens to large if you hit it with like compressed air or something? I think it wouldn't turn to glass; it would just splatter.
Well, it says here, says finding a preserved brain dating back thousands of years is a rare thing at the best of times. When scientists examined the remains of a man's brain from the volcanic disaster, they discovered it had been turned into a charred black material reminiscent of glass.
what? I mean, mostly it's cholesterol. So what's the other parts of it? I mean, there's a few minerals and such. But
Ooh,
don't
it
know.
says
I really.
I'll read a bit more then. It says as many as 300 people had hidden in boathouses to escape the eruption, only to be exposed to so much intense heat and pressure their heads literally exploded.
Yeah.
But they say the room they've been hiding in had reached an insane 520 degrees Celsius, vaporising most of the body and leaving behind skull fragments coated with a vitrified brain tissue.
Okay, so yeah, it's turned into a jelly, and then I suppose in which case it's the vitrified substance is a bit like boiled sweets, where you put enough heat and sugar and it turns into a hard substance,
Oh right, so it's more like that then than
as opposed to an actual silica glass.
they reckon Washington State's Department of Transportation has found Sasquatch spotted. Where is it?
Sasquatch.
The picturesque stretcher road in Sherman Pass, which crosses the Kettle River Range in Washington.
Yeah, so can I just butt in and do some chatting? Yeah.
Go on then.
Jill Citizen, 225 starlings found mysteriously dead on Anglesey. Yeah, that's the story. Like, check it out later or something. Yeah. Okay, back to business. Yeah.
Kind of is business.
Let's get it ship shape and
I don't know.
key.
But
Key.
Barclay Walsh has said, "How do I summon a tomboy succubus?"
Ask me down the pub.
Oh jeez, I've lost it. Right, there we go. Have we seen? There's been a strange black smoke ring has been filmed over Pakistan. I thought that was just a Tuesday, wasn't it? So this giant ring, which was spotted drifting up into the sky. Hold on, I'll put a link in. I'll stick a link in general if you want to have a look at the story.
All right.
So, giant ring, which was spotted drifting up into the sky, has been the topic of some heated debate this week. The phenomenon reportedly appeared in January 21st over the city of Lahore, the capital of Punjab province, where it was seen by a couple of witnesses who recorded the spectacle on their phones. Footage of the ring quickly racked up tens of thousands of views on social media, leading to much speculation over what exactly could it be. Some suggested it was UFO related, while others favoured more sceptical possibilities. Is that just the signal for 2020 superpower? Is it?
Yeah, smoke signals, isn't it?
That's smoke signal.
Yeah, that's pretty rad, isn't it?
It just means we're a superpower now. That's what that smoke ring means, doesn't it?
That's right. That's above the Zozo cinema. That's the Ouija board, isn't it? Zozo, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. Zozo, isn't it?
Well, Z-O. I'm sure some people spell it S-O-Z-O. It's supposed to be Z-O-Z-O. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Synchronicity.
Looks like some sort of spooky film as well, doesn't it? Is that a ghost on the right hand side of that?
Some Bollywood ghost thing, by the looks of it. Yeah.
I bet. Do you want to comment?
Yeah.
Do you want to comment on the giant black smoke ring filmed over Pakistan?
Can't we get it for the chat to see? Will it come up on the stream?
Yeah, can do. I just haven't put it into it. Hold on a sec.
That's pretty wild. That is, yeah. I've never seen a smoke ring before.
Is that like the devil's version of a halo? Is it? Window capture. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, I suppose he'd have a black halo, wouldn't he? The old old goat foot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
New facility to produce oxygen from moon dust.
To produce what?
Oxygen from moon dust. Do you want a link to this one, Hobbit?
Okay, that can be that can be done. I mean, a lot of rocks contain oxygen inside them, so it's just a case of applying heat and doing some other chemical processes, and you can liberate the oxygen. The more interesting thing about the moon is getting helium. I don't think people would want to live on.
How'd you get oxygen out of something that don't exist?
Oh yeah. Well, a cheese has got oxygen in it, right? It's carbohydrates.
What's the story? What's the story? Where are you getting oxygen from?
Yeah, from moon dust.
From rocks.
Oh, moon dust. Yeah.
In general, I've just put it in general. If you want to have a look at it yourself. University of Glasgow. The University of Glasgow in Scotland have come up with a way to produce oxygen from the regolith found on the moon using a method known as molten salt electrolysis.
So in other words, they haven't done anything new then, because that's been known about since the end of the 19th century, if not further. That's not new.
There's been some weird stories just lately. Yeah, sorry, I won't go on.
So what's the bit they're saying is new from there? They're using a mass spectrometer to analyse the rocks? Yeah. What else?
New technique.
I can't get excited about science anymore. Just there doesn't seem to be anything genuinely new. There's no new avenue of chemistry.
Oh, they said the new method. What they've done is they must have changed it somehow, because the new method also has the added benefit of producing metal alloys as a waste product.
So, in other words, they're heating up rocks, something which we've done since for the past 6,000 years.
Yeah.
And they're claiming this time that the metal refined from it is the waste product, whereas the oxygen from it is the intended.
Well, they're saying that it looks like they've tweaked the technique, because it says it's not the first such technique to have been developed, but it is the most promising, given that alternatives are generally too difficult, too destructive, or produce far too little yield to be worth it.
I heard a sort of. I think we're getting I think we got a lag here or something.
No, it's not that. I just wanted to finish my point. Sorry, Zero.
I was just going to say, sort of seeing to tonight's topic. I read the other day that scientists have discovered quantum processors in normal like home equipment. But I don't know whether that's one of those stupid stories. But so they're saying like radios can communicate with each other, as in the is it the double slit experiment? I'm not sure, but like there's a quantum communication between radio sets and TVs. I can't find the bloody thing now because I'm on the wrong browser. But yeah, but like you say, Hobbit, I don't like science anymore either. No, it's sort of like I think they're sort of like they come out with these things, and you look at the story, and it's not like what they say at all, is it? It's just like they claim, or someone's come up with a theory, or they, but it's not like an actual discovery, is it?
So they think science these days.
Well, they say it's
not allowed to acknowledge reality because it's politically incorrect. That's the problem with it.
Well, the thing is, they say it's all settled, so there's nothing left to learn, don't they?
Yeah.
So they don't. So they don't recheck.
Wrong approach to science.
They mess with people's heads, don't they? One minute they say eggs are really bad for you, and a few months on they say, "Oh, no, eggs are actually good."
Well, red wine's the classic, isn't it? It's like clocks are changed, red wine's bad for you. It's just like there's no rhyme or reason to it, is there?
I think the best thing to do with any of the sort of articles like that is to ignore it all and just think, what were my ancestors eating 100 years ago? I'm thinking, well, that would have been 1920. Jam, bread, butter, lard, black pudding, sausages.
Dripping.
Yeah, they'd have that too. So in other words, the stuff which I eat now, they'd have had cider, they'd have had wine, no chocolate. So, yeah.
I think
miracle burgers or whatever.
No, chocolate's been about for longer than you think. Because I was watching a program about was it? It was either roses or something like that. That's like the early 1900s, isn't it?
I had a school tour of the Cadbury factory. I remember being quite disappointed when they didn't offer the chocolate liqueur as an actual commercial product. It was like, here's some unsweetened chocolate. I was like, oh, this is really good. Can I have some more? It's like, no, one sample per child. It's like, oh, but no one else likes it. Can I have the half-finished ones? No, you'll get germs. These are my classmates. I'm not going to get any germs from them. But yeah, chocolate has been around.
I should have just said no, Hobbit. You're too fat, shouldn't I? it's what you really meant.
Stop being greedy. Go and buy some Bourneville in the gift shop.
Yeah, stop being a fat little bastard. You're not having all the free chocolate.
But the thing is, most of the kids were like going. They were going. It's too bitter. I don't like it.
A bit like Vinny with that a pint of non-alcoholic beer we gave him.
Oh, to be fair though, I'm not saying the brand name of it, but I'd rather drink fizzy drinks than.
Oh yeah,
well, I mean, it is a fizzy drink.
No,
that's
that's
a step too far. Isn't it? It's a step too far.
I'm gonna go to bat for non-alcoholic Adnams Ghost Ship because hopefully I might get a free crate or something. I will go to bat for it. It's not like drinking like Beck's or something like that. That's like rough until you've had about three or four, and then you start getting the taste for it.
Yeah. Can I just have a lemonade or a lime soda?
They charge you £5 though, didn't they, for a lemonade in a pub? They charge you like £5 or something, didn't they?
Well, shall I just change the name to Grub and Ghosts?
Spooky Grub Stories.
What do spoons charge for a lemonade then?
I don't know, but you can get three bottles of non-alcoholic Ghost Ship for £5, and I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
What's the point though?
Well, when we go out for a beer, I usually drive. So.
Oh right, yeah. Oh yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So it's better than drinking. It's better than drinking Coke all night.
Well, I mean that's why I'm happy with like 2 pints of cider and then just soft resting.
Them in a soft drink.
You should take some drugs. You know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I mean, not if I'm going to be driving. So
yeah, you're drivers, isn't you? I don't drive, so yeah, I don't have to worry.
This one's a bit of a. I've got another one. This one's a bit of a kind of open-ended story. It's are UFOs piloted by humans from the future? Obviously, no point reading the article, and there's no proof for it. What do you guys think to that for an explanation as to what UFOs are?
It's a good late night thing, isn't it? Time travel. Because it's like if someone comes back in time and kills Hitler, what was it? It's not going to happen, is it?
But did they want Hitler?
Go back in time to kill Marx.
Yeah. Did
they want Hitler? And they really what they really did was stop Hitler from winning the Second World War.
I don't know. It does my head in.
That's the problem. You have to think about it.
Kill Marx.
It's like 1500. It's like 1488 D chess, isn't it? That's the problem. That's the problem with it. You don't quite know where it's ever going to end up if you made one of those decisions, do you?
It's possible they did.
Kill Genghis Khan.
Yeah. Well, if they killed someone like that, that's just going to start a separate time stream, isn't it? Where that reality will carry on, but we'll still be here and have books on Genghis Khan. We've got parallel time streams, haven't we, going on?
Is that the theory you subscribe to then? I mean, it's all absolute theory. Like everyone has their own headcanon, don't they? So
the chat have come to deliberations on what knob downvoted the stream, and have decided that it is one bereft of a foreskin.
I'll second that. Yeah,
they've probably got a foreskin in a jar on the counter in the
Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man. That's where I was going with it. Yeah.
I was shocked to hear that. Yeah, I forgot about that scene. Yeah, that's shocking, isn't it?
Absolutely, isn't it?
But then again, with the Wicker Man, like everyone I know says, "Oh, the Wicker Man is like the most pro-pagan film ever," but it's not. It's a very anti-pagan film, The Wicker Man.
Well, I did. Have you heard my dope movies and shows? I did. We did.
Yeah,
we did.
yeah.
It's like.
It depicts them as fucking lunatics, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, well, say Midsummer does the same, doesn't it? What with the having the retard running the village and stuff like that.
Zero. Next time someone like says, "Oh yeah, Wicker Man's very pro-pagan," just got to say, so what part of it convinced you was pro-pagan? Was it the burning of the policeman at the in the side of Wicker Man?
Or the foreskins on the counter in the local shop?
Yeah, the jar full of pickled foreskins.
Yeah.
I mean, they tortured a poor policeman. You know, it's like, I don't know.
What is that? Is there any basis in that conceit in all of those films where the innocent man has to come of their free will to be sacrificed? Is that, or is it just like a?
Yeah, I think that's just one of those internet urban myth things. It's like,
Yeah,
the Illuminati have to like broadcast what they're going to do before they do it, but they're not going to do that. Are they?
Two trope, like with the vampires having to ask permission to enter your premises before going.
It's like if I was going to rob a bank, I wouldn't like do an internet, like a YouTube video with all codes saying, like, "Yeah, I'm going to rob the bank." You know, you wouldn't broadcast what you're going to do, would you?
I don't know. Has it got to the point where they're so powerful that it just doesn't matter if they get caught? So they've kind of resorted to stuff like this so they can still get the cheap thrill from it.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah.
They enjoy rubbing their faces like, "This is what we're going to do to you guys."
I thought they enjoyed rubbing their hands.
Well,
rubbing their hands in it, isn't they?
Hands in their noses. They enjoy rubbing everything in. And the thing is, it's like, we're going to put out these esoteric warnings of the crimes we're about to commit. And when you start talking with your peers about it, they'll just start doing the Twilight Zone music to you.
Yeah.
Couldn't that cause spontaneous human combustion, though, if they rub their hands too much? I don't know. It's like another thing. I don't know.
Like those crickets in that film. You ever seen that film, Bug?
I've seen a few bug films.
Well, there's an earthquake and those bugs that can make fire come out of it. Have you not seen that one? And this bloke's trying to study him and stuff.
It's not Slither, is it? No, not Slither.
No, it's. I think it's called Bug.
Good title, yeah.
Yeah. It's really easy to find in modern day, isn't it? Yeah, and it's a little bit like Phase 4, but only slightly like Phase 4 in the fact that there's like intelligent bugs.
I used to know a schizophrenic guy, and he used to talk about how like bugs were like real bugs, like they'd put like listening devices in actual real bugs. And this was like years ago, but now they've done it, haven't they? They've got like bugs, listening bugs. Yeah.
Well, that kind of fits in with the theory that that schizophrenics aren't actually mental; they just experience all of time at once.
Nah.
Some people say that.
Yeah, they're tuning into stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be weird if, like, the schizophrenics say, "I've got implants in me," and then scans are done showing that yes, they have got the implants in there. So
yeah, it's
imagine
weird.
There's an alternative universe with people with implants in them are removed out and studied and going, these are strange. This isn't human technology. And those people saying, "Yeah, can my penis be turned inside out and be given like hormone blockers? I'll be put into the mental asylum because it's like, those people want to mutilate themselves. There's nothing physically wrong with them."
Well, it's
there's an
as a wise man once said, if I go to the doctor and say I want to chop my arm off because I don't think it should be there, you get psychiatric help. If you want to chop your penis off because you don't think it should be there, you get all the help in the world, don't you?
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
I saw a story this morning about a man who was fast tracked into dick removal and testicle removal surgery. And then 4 years later, he's like, this is really painful. I want to go back to being a man. So he's come out and said, like, yeah, this is a mistake. If you really think, like, gender reassignment, he lost his wife, then he lost all three of his children in short succession.
Yeah.
So he decided that, all this trauma's happened to me. I need to become a woman. And then sort of 4 years later, instead of killing himself, he's actually coming out and saying to people, yeah, the solution to your angst is not to start mutilating your genitals.
Well, that's it. It's the ultimate form of like escaping your problems, isn't it? You know, thinking you're going to become a woman, and then all your problems are solved because you're not the same person you were. That's the thinking behind it, isn't it?
A lot of it's attention seeking as well, I think, because I mean,
Yeah.
it's a well-known disorder, isn't it? Like if you're really lonely and feel powerless, if you suddenly become autistic or have some stupid sort of allergy, then suddenly you get attention, don't you? And it's just they just want attention, don't they? It's just
there must be a lot of delusion into it. I think mostly it works with like the 20-somethings who, you know, can still pass off as effeminate.
Oh, hold on. I'm really sorry. Dual Citizen has mentioned District 9, so I've got to say the prawns. That's what.
Oh, the prawns.
That's what you have to say whenever District 9 is mentioned. You have to mention the prawns, don't you?
Everyone was telling me what a great film it was, and it wasn't. But the guy did go on to make Judge Dredd, which was pretty.
Yeah, I got to the end. I was like, this is what it is. The ending's pretty disappointing, isn't it?
Have you seen Day Watch and Night Watch? Those Russian films.
I've heard they're really good.
They're pretty cool. Yeah, I got them the other day, double DVD set. Yeah, quite enjoyable.
Have you ever seen
Baywatch.
I never watched.
Baywatch. Yeah.
I thought he said Baywatch. Do you remember that Baywatch Nights they did? Apparently that had some paranormal storylines in, didn't it?
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
What, the Haunted Beach?
Haunted Tits.
I think they had like a sea monster in it or something like that. I think it went a bit bonkers.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Is Pamela Anderson in it?
I don't think so. It's like it's the night crew. So.
The one's not good enough to.
It's the ugly ones. So they only let them hang around the beach at night. That's.
I'll have to disavow that. Actually, I don't like plastic tits. That's on the par as chopping your dick off, isn't it? Plastic tits. Nah.
Yeah, I thought they look nice, but I imagine the experience probably isn't that good.
No.
The mentality of someone who wants plastic bags inserted into their breasts boggles my mind. Anyway.
Do you remember Lolo Ferrari?
Yeah.
I do remember Lolo Ferrari.
When it tits that killed her.
Yeah, they exploded, didn't they?
No, I thought they suffocated her.
It was the tits. No, I think she had like a drug overdose.
Oh, right, okay.
Because her mum never accepted her, and so her solution to that was to get more plastic surgery. At which point, her mum was even more disappointed with her.
You've been corrected. You've been corrected already, Zero. Neil Blomkamp. I can't say that. Made District 9. And it was Pete Travis that directed Dredd.
Oh, that was me. Was it?
Yeah, I'm out of the loop. I don't know what District 9 is.
It's a clumsy anti-racism trail. It's a clumsy anti-racism tale played out through aliens. Am I right?
That sounds fun.
Is that about right, Hobbit?
Considering, yeah. Well, considering it came out from South Africa, I mean that's like Oscar material. Someone's trying to tell me that IQ is relative per country. So someone with an IQ of 90 in Europe has got an IQ of 500 in Africa. I try to explain to them that it's an absolute scale, like kilowatts.
Yeah. Oh, Opinionated Ranter says Dredd was brilliant. There's a few 2000 AD fan-made animations kicking about on the tubes worth a watch.
Yeah, some decent 2000 AD interviews on YouTube. Yeah, with the creators and that.
No Fun Zone thinks this should be retitled 14 words 24 plastic tits hot or not. Right, we've
depends how close.
We've had a chill for about half an hour. Are we about ready to do some content?
I'm in the mood. Yeah. Radio transmissions. Isn't that mysterious? invisible voices flying through the air to be captured in boxes, and weird antennas with like modern statues of ancient deities. If some voices we hear on the radio may be ghosts, as far as we're aware, who knows? You know, it's like voices come out of the radio, but some of them could be ghosts. If we believe my theory that radios are actually spirit traps, where spirits are attracted by the maze of brightly coloured wires and different sized components and the glowing valve, so they're attracted to these radio sets, and then they get lost in them. So spirits might be living inside your radios. Plus, on the EVP question, EVP is a great thing to annoy skeptics with. And I'm all for annoying skeptics. Like, I'm getting voices from my from deceased relatives and like aliens over my Tandy radio that costs $5.99. And yeah, that's my take anyway.
Tandy, when's the last time you went out to the shop, Zero?
I used to go to there, like Alan Partridge. I used to go to the Tandy in Norwich. Yeah, I used to I used to love having a good old look around Tandy. Yeah,
So
I got in an altercation with the shop bloke because you go in Tandy and they want your address. I bought some component or something. He said, like, "What's your address?" I said, "I'm not telling you my address." And then we got into a sort of altercation. And yeah, weird.
I thought you were going to say they sneer at you like they used to at Maplin's. It's like Maplin's used to look at you like you knew nothing, didn't they? That's like really bad customer service in there. It kind of changed after a while because they started getting like more like normal people in there. But when it first opened, they used to like sneer at you if you got like the slightest bit of jargon wrong.
It's like fucking.
The last time I went into Maplin was for a fairly specific cable adapter. It's an 8 to 6 pin. Rings a bell. And this was in 2015. And just the sort of sneers I got from the guy behind the desk. And I was saying, "Oh, I'm so grateful you got this picture. Do you have any idea how rare it is and how hard it is to find?" And he just sort of looked to me as just like there was nothing between his eyes.
Yeah. It's like blokes in record shops, isn't it? Like, God, I used to hate going in there.
Blokes
there was only one record.
Blokes in hi-fi shops. Do you remember the Not on the 9 o'clock news sketch?
Yeah.
So you got your woofer, you got your tweet, you got your bag on your head.
I'll cut them some slack. Because I like hi-fi. But yeah,
I like your speech, but I'm thinking it's a bit romanticised, and I have to piss on your parade now. I'm thinking, yeah, it's been a long time since we've had the romantic, old-timey valve amplified radio. It's been a long time since.
Valve sets are still about for hipsters, and you can still buy valve amps, can't you?
Well, funny enough, there's the company I've got an amp in my car. It's a Class D one, and it's from a company called Knob Sound. I really like it because it can run anywhere from 9 to 24 volts. So it's ideal for the car's 14.8 volt supply when the engine's running. And they do valve amps with Bluetooth. So you've got some glowy valves in. Look very nice. But these days I was thinking more and more, like my dad was saying, he's got some of my late uncle's radio equipment. And I said, "Do you ever bother with the shortwave stuff?" And he says, "Oh, there's hardly anything on these days. I mean, you get BBC World Service and a few like stations wailing in Arabic. That is time to prayer, and that's about it."
Yeah, that's the trouble. Yeah, it used to be brilliant.
Used to be really interesting.
Yeah,
I had a Grundig radio back in the 90s, and I always remember this radio. It ran on like 4 AA batteries, and it had a little button cell for the radio, for the LCD display. I remember once that the batteries ran out, so I took them out and I turned it on just out of curiosity, and it was drawing power from the button cell. I had a very quiet radio, but the bit I liked about that is it had a full band shortwave radio feature in it. I used to just sort of slowly dial through the various bands and just hear sort of various interesting things, which I'm told those sounds are when things bounce against the ionosphere, because it's not a clear boundary. Sort of varies it. You get sort of phase distortion, which sounds very nice.
Yeah,
A
I
few
used to
artists
do
have
that. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's some
a few
amazing
artists have put it to
sounds.
music. Hmm?
There's amazing sounds. I used to have like a 1940. I forget. I think it was a Bush 1945 valve shortwave radio with a magic eye tuning thing, and that was just amazing. You know, the sound was just so warm. You know, just so, and creepy as well. Just amazing.
For
And
some
you
of
get
our
all
newer
sorts of
listeners,
weird sounds.
if you're wondering what a magic eye tuning device is, look up Techmo. His channel will feature all sorts of old technology as well,
Yeah,
obsolete and obscure stuff. And he's got like a magic eye tuning device in one of the reviews he's doing, so you can see how it works. I
it's
quite
almost
like.
like a thing, like a magic. It's not a magic, but it's almost like a sort of, well, yeah, like a magic altar rather than a radio. It's amazing.
Well, one of the things I want to say for any skeptics listening to this and thinking like, oh yeah, you're just hearing funny things in the short way. You attribute all this extra stuff to it's not true. Do bear in mind that the first experiments of radio and television were by the Golden Dawn Society, which weren't a research institute. They were an esoteric society, and they were using these radio receivers as like a crystal ball, because they wanted to peer into it. And I think one of the first images ever transmitted was a Maltese cross. And it's worth looking at the experiments of like the early CRT as well as John Logie Baird's
Yeah.
televised, just to see the early experiments done with transmission. But even before there was any transmitters out, there were people with radio receivers just tuning into the ether to hear what they could hear.
That's interesting. I've read like two separate things, like when like people who've said that they've done the Golden Dawn, they've practiced the Golden Dawn magical system, and after a while they said that they developed a strong, intense interest in National Socialism, which I thought was interesting. But so I looked at the actual syllabus, whatever it is, and there is a swastika in the actual syllabus, but I don't know whether. But yeah, sort of curious.
I mean, I joke about that, but the thing is, Greece is one of their prominent parties. There is the gold. And, I'm reminded of seeing a spear recovered from Germany in the 1st century AD, and it has a swastika engraved on the spearhead. It's an ancient symbol. It's an astrological symbol because the constellation the Plough is it forms a swastika through the seasons.
Well, there's the swastika stone, isn't there? So there's a swastika stone on Ilkley Moor in Yorkshire. That's like an ancient stone with a swastika on it. So
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
way before Nazis.
Time travelling
the
Nazis.
Etruscans had it on their shields. The Greeks had it on their pottery. It's an ancient symbol because it's literally in the stars, and it is quite important to us. It's the crooked cross.
I've got a copper. Sorry, go on.
Well, imagine making a symbol illegal. I mean, doesn't that strike you as a bit weird and esoteric?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, why must this certain geometrical shape be made illegal in certain countries?
And it's not even like we say, it's not even tied to the nasty Nazis, is it? I mean, it's an ancient symbol, but Buddhists must be in like a bit of a quandary because it's their symbol as well, isn't it? But I doubt if they emblazon that on their temples in Britain.
Well, the Jains and the Hindus do as well, and the Shinto priests do it. And like I said, it just happened it got popularized in a certain event in history, which was apparently the most important event of all time. And well, we could argue it is because founding religion of our era is post 1945. You might as well say it was year zero.
I agree with you on that one, Hobbit. I do believe it was year zero, wasn't it? Yeah, that's actually year zero of current year, isn't it?
there was, I mean, there was a war between nationalism and globalism, and nationalism lost. It's
Mm.
much to all of our detriment.
I think I think you'd
Yeah.
say chagrin. Hobbit, you could have dropped in a chagrin there.
I could have said, but
Yeah.
detriment, I think, is also apropos in this one. So we were talking about the esoteric origins of radio. I mean, guys, imagine like I've built this turntable. What does it do? Well, you put a record on, and it will play it back. All right, what's a record? Oh, I haven't invented that yet.
Well,
What
before
you
that,
put on
before that, you had the wax cylinder, didn't you? Before that,
Well, the idea
which
is like
which order
you've
did it
built
come
a
in? Because you had the wax cylinder and you had those, the things were
yeah, the
like,
phonograph.
like they're like grey, like braille, aren't they? It's like a cylinder.
Oh, yeah. So before that, you had like you could program a piano or an organ to play music
Hmm.
by having punch cards or raised bumps, which would
Yeah.
turn switches, sorry, valves on and off. And yeah, you got fairground steam operated organs which do that, as well as those pianos in those Western. But the idea
Like,
is just imagine you've built a receiving device and you haven't even built the transmitter, and that is the history of radio and television. This to me strikes me as like, well, not only is that odd, but then you've got television programming, considering all the mind control that goes on in television. I mean, I'm going to have to mention Dangerfield here. Chris Dangerfield's been doing a series about laugh tracks in like sitcoms and just how artificial. But he also mentioned that brass eye really paid good attention to detail, because one of the things that Chris Morris picked up on is the certain cadence and tempo when news reports are doing things. Here's a thing that's happened in this news thing.
And this
And
is serious.
there is a,
Yeah.
this is serious. We're talking in the serious voice now. We're using the serious tempo. Pay attention. Keep up. And then you've got some serious music to keep up the pace.
Yeah.
well, it is.
That is.
Yeah, it's weird. Like you say, Hobbit. They had radio receivers, and they were picking up stations or signals when there wasn't any radio stations transmitting. So they were picking stuff up, and I see a cult. I see a cult at the very start of radio. That was some sort of cult, and for some reason, I think that was in Eastern Europe. I see these blokes in like white coats, and there's some sort of cult surrounding the birth of radio. I can't work it out. They were working behind the scenes because, that was quite an amazing invention. Radio, you can transmit from one specific point to sort of everywhere in the world. So the cult would want to make good use of that, wouldn't they? The secret cult that rules the world.
Well, I think this is one of the things they probably, because experiments were done in the 1950s of using radio frequencies to do mind control, and an experiment was done in a room in somebody will actually say, "Oh yes, I've heard that 3 minutes. It was such and such university, and they found this frequency causes people calm, this causes agitation, and it's actually not new." The people that build organs and make the music have understood the importance of tones and tonality for a long period of time, and that's why certain notes were called the devil's notes. You don't play them because of the discordant effect they have. And
The tritone, yeah.
The tritone. Oh, okay. I have to look that up.
Yeah, the tritone.
This is why I find there's of course you will find some disinformation on this as well, but for example, there is talk about how tonality got standardized in the 1940s. The Rockefeller Institute, as well as the Nazis, decided that the key of A, the note A, will be 440 hertz, which means, I forget what C would be at that. But before then, A was 432, which means C is 512, base 2. You've got lots of fractions. It's more harmonious because it's a nice number. You can divide it quite a lot. I mean, I think you've got 8 divisions. But point being is, for a long time, people have understood tonality and how certain frequencies, the human psyche. So, of course, when these transmitters come up, BBC being one of the first broadcasting, it is a mind. And it's mind control in both exoteric and esoteric ways. Like Chris Dangerfield noticed with the way sitcoms have laugh tracks in them, the way news broadcasts use a certain tempo, and documentaries will use a different cadence, to the esoteric where the very frequencies themselves are having an effect and they're controlling their minds.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, there was those arcade games that were making people have epileptic fits because of the frequencies in either the sound or the visuals. Yeah, it certainly does have an effect.
Pokemon. It was. I think they even had a Simpsons parody where they're in Japan. But's flipping through the channels. It's like, oh, it's my favorite cartoon, battling seizure robots, and it's just like he's watching it. He's having an epileptic fit, and Homer sort of sees it, doesn't understand what's going on, so he decides to start rolling on the floor.
I hate to say it, you keep cutting out, Hobbit. It's not me who cuts out. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's annoying.
Any chance you can get on your PC, mate?
Oh,
it's just we can't hear what you're saying, really.
You're clipping at the end of every.
Really
You're clipping at the end of every sentence.
Okay. It's probably doing this thing where it's like, volume activated,
Noise gain, or
and
something.
I've set
noise gate or something like that.
I've set the sensitivity to maximum, so it really, if I so much as fart, it should pick it up, but it's not doing it. I'll come back on. I'll use the boomy mic.
Okay, nice one. Cheers, mate.
Well, if I can drag this back to EVP, right. EVP is fucking great. You know, it's a great thing. You can pick up spirits and like demons on your radio. Isn't that amazing?
Well, tell me what you want when you want, and I'll
put them in that's the thing. The trouble is, like, the heyday of EVP research was in the 1960s and the 1970s with Konstantin Raudive and that, who were like really full-on old-school good stuff using totally analog equipment. But now, of course, you've got the internet, and the stage is overrun by these gormless geeks who, like, they accept anything like rustling clothes as an authentic EVP voice, but they're talking out of their arse, to put it bluntly. And of course, with EVP, now you've got all these predatory postmodern academics and these media artists doing installations and friggin' sound works, exploiting EVP. And that's just like, that's totally for squares. That is like, if you want to do EVP, you've got to have total analog, old school stuff with tapes. And
what would you say the ideal is? One of those little things with a microphone, with a separate microphone, or a microphone built in. Just a little tape record, little portable tape record. That's what all the old school people used, yeah. And they got amazing results. But with these digital recorders, they're so sensitive. Like I say, if you rustle your clothes or something, it does sound like a voice because of the nature of the sound processing chip in these little digital recorders. If you rustle your clothes, that does sound like a voice. So people are like barking up the wrong tree, like these days, Shall we play the first 2 Zero's Friend? Yeah, I can do that. Hold on, I just got to queue them up.
If I can line it up, like, these were made by my friend, and I've no reason to disbelieve him. And so these are like genuine examples of EVP, because this is the guy who did all that TV stuff I mentioned in a previous show.
Do you want these one after the other, or do you want to talk in between?
Yeah, well, you might as well. One's a voice, and one sounds like a dog or a demon.
I'll play
so
it.
You can make it fine.
Is that the same one 3 times, or do you want me
Yeah,
to play it?
yeah,
Do you want me to play
yeah,
it again,
yeah.
just so people can hear it?
Well, yeah, yeah. Is it a dog or a demon? You decide. Yeah, but the thing is, when he recorded that, there wasn't a dog in the vicinity. You know. What I mean, it's not like some dog next door barking. He recorded that in a sort of silent room at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and there wasn't a dog when he recorded it. So there's something on tape there. But yeah, but this other one's interesting because this one he was using the feedback technique, where you turn the gain up really high, and then you put the microphone close to the speaker, so you get like feedback, and he actually got quite a clear voice. Like,
Is this going to blow
as they
people's
say,
ears out, or is it not like quite?
well,
like that?
as they say in the trade, this is a grade 1 EVP voice. So yeah, give it a whirl. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. What is it? What does your friend
That's
think
weird,
that
isn't it?
says?
Well, like I say, when he was recording that, that was in a totally silent room. There wasn't like some woman going, "Alibali, alibali." I don't know what she says.
It definitely sounded Middle Eastern. I don't know why, but it
Yeah.
struck me as being Middle Eastern. Away, away.
And
Oh, that's a lot.
I don't think that's like someone rustling their clothes, is it? I mean, that is a voice, isn't it? That's definitely a voice
absolutely.
within that feedback. So yeah, because like the skeptics, they say us that those stupid words. Was it apophenia or pareidolia, where your brain like tries to make some sort of like known thing
like,
out of some chaos, isn't it?
It's a bit like simulacra, isn't it? Where your brain looks for patterns, doesn't it?
That's it, simulacra, yeah. But they're talking out of their arse, these skeptics, because it's not all that. Because some EVP voices, they say the experimenter's name, and that can be clearly heard on the tape. Like, say, like John Smith is doing an EVP experiment, the voices will say like John Smith, hello John, and stuff like that. So I mean, that's not simulacra or pareidolia, is it? It's just.
What do you think to these programs? What do you think to these programs? Like, you ever watch Ghost Adventures or Taps or these? You watched any of these programs? Zero?
I don't know. I feel like punching the screen when I watch stuff like that. I don't know. It's just like he's like, sorry, Americans, but these loudmouth Americans, like, yeah, gung ho, yeah, let's fucking, oh no, you got to have a bit of class to it, haven't you? Like, be a bit respectful. And
well, have you watched Ghost Adventures? That Zach Bagans, he goes in and tries to ride the spirits. He shouts and swears at them, doesn't he?
He is asking for trouble, unless it's all just totally made up. He is asking for trouble.
I've heard a few stories where he's had some trouble as well.
Yeah, I mean, Christ, I mean, you do stuff like that, yeah, that's asking for shit to happen.
That Bobby Mackey's is a serious place, isn't it?
Was that?
It's an old country and western club in America.
Oh, right, yeah.
And they reckon there could be a portal to hell there. There's like a big old... I think it used to be an abattoir or something like that, so...
Yeah. God, I don't want to go on a digression here, but we used to go to an abattoir in Caister-on-Sea in Norfolk. That was an ex-abattoir. And yeah, God, you could definitely feel the vibes in there. Yeah, that would have been good to do EVP in there, but I didn't know about it back then. Yeah. The vibes are still there. I mean, they've got to be there, haven't they? These terror vibes. They have to be in an abattoir, mustn't they? I mean, it's not like a sort of yoga meditation center, is it? It's a fucking abattoir.
Do you think the repetition in there could be some sort of ritual as well? Sort of like some people not really.
Yeah,
some people could
that's the tradition.
Be doing some sort of ritual without realising it.
Yeah, that's the tradition in EVP, to repeat it several times so people can hear it.
Yeah.
And people criticise them because a lot of people say like they say what you're supposed to hear before they play it. So they say,
no, wrong output. Sorry, guys.
they say like this says like hello, this is Mr. Zontar from Venus, and then they play it, and so of course you're going to hear what they've just set you up to hear. But I don't like doing that. I just like to say play it and see what you hear because the theory is like when you randomize audio, these spirits can like modulate it to communicate with you. So you can use anything like a dripping tap or
what do you
running
think
water.
To the spirit boxes, the ones that sweep the FM?
They're allowed. They're a gimmick. Yeah, this is like they're a gimmick. Like,
so you think anything you get off of that is an accident?
I think they're made by people who want to make money, kind of thing. Put it that way. I mean, all you need is like shortwave static. I mean, people do get interesting results from the ghost boxes, but I think a lot of it is actual charm. I agree with the skeptics there, but I think a lot of that stuff from the ghost boxes is actual chance like stuff. Because now you want like just a bit of radio static. Just tune the radio in between stations, and when you get the randomized audio, that's when the spirits supposedly modulate it into actual intelligible speech. Yeah, it's like William Burroughs and Brian Geison's cut-ups when they'd literally cut up a text, and you're randomizing the text and new words come out. It's like dream speech or like fever talk.
They did that at the end
when
of
someone's in a fever.
Is it a day in the life? They did that at the end of A Day in the Life, the Beatles song, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they were into all that William Burroughs stuff. Yeah.
Well, the Tavistock Institute certainly was.
Yeah.
Hobbit's
well, that's all sort of like
back in his bucket now, but at least we can hear him.
It is Pringles tube.
Pringles tube, that's it.
I live in the can of sour cream and chives, crinkles.
No, that sounds all right. That sounds all right, actually. Yeah, that sounds
it's
all right.
better. At least it's not clipping. That was clipping really badly first half. Anyway,
yeah.
Did we cut you off in your prime? Was there something you were in the middle of?
No, I just wanted to say before Zero dragged things back onto the subject of EVPs, I wanted to preface it with an introduction to skeptics because I always feel our audience is, skeptics are definitely going to listen to a show called Fortean Words.
Where were you on the EVP question then, Hobbit? You're a believer then, are you? Pretty much. I'm thinking if there's ways of doing it, I mean, certainly the guys who invented radio in the first place believed in it. So why would I disbelieve it when the guys what invented the very technology to scry into the ether? It's like saying, no, I disbelieve in the internal combustion engines for producing powered flight. It's like, but that's what it was made for. Yeah, but I don't believe in it. Well, it's like here's a technology which we can categorically state it was used for scrying into the ether. Oh, but I don't believe in that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think like surely spirits, they must be on the electromagnetic spectrum at some point. Surely they must be on the electromagnetic spectrum. So,
well, if you're willing to speculate, we're on the electromagnetic spectrum.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they must be able to communicate if they're on the spectrum.
Are we saying there are 51 types of different ghosts, are we?
What I is saying is that in the beginning there was the word, and the word is electromechanical, and therefore, electromagnetic. And when you're gone, you're a spirit, or there's a shadow left, which is a spirit of some sorts, and that can interfere with electronic devices and can be picked up in unreliable ways.
What do you think then? Oh, excuse me. Do you think then when we die? And we shrug off the old meat bag. Do you reckon that all that's left is the electromagnetical part of us?
I have to say yes. It's like a matrix. A matrix continues, but I'm not like. I mean, I don't know, but
nobody knows.
The ones I've met.
There's only There's only one way of finding out, and that's a one-way trip, isn't it?
the ones I've met, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but the ones I've met are certainly sentient. They're certainly, they're not like some like recording, as they say, these recording ghosts. They're certainly sentient, and they certainly can communicate. Well, they've communicated with me, so they must continue, as a sort of spirit body. But the whole subject is so weird, because I don't even like thinking about it, because I think like, well, this has happened to me, but that freaks me the fuck out.
Well,
it's like,
when you've had loved ones die, you know, if you're anything like me, you start speculating as to why is it I can still see them when they're dead. Surely they should be in heaven by now. They've got unsolved business. So it's like, well, maybe they stick around for a bit just to finish up, tidy up any loose ends.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, it's too bad they couldn't actually, just from the dead write a will so that people, if you die suddenly, it's just like, oh yeah, I really wanted this, this, and this to be done if I died, but never thought about I'd actually die at that point. They do that, but I'm thinking there's probably two things that's happening. It's probably a case of like their spirit, once it's no longer incorporated into the body, it goes off, and then because when it goes off, it's a bit like a ship at sea. It creates a wake. So the wake is not the ship, but you definitely know a ship has passed because you start bobbing around from the ripples caused by its passage. Yeah. So I like to think that's what's going on. It's not that people stay around once they're dead. There is an afterlife, but you notice the ripples in their passing.
Well, I suppose
the thing is,
okay, isn't it? I've just thought of a phrase that that is a bit of a weird one. That could go to the why do we say shuffle off this mortal coil?
I don't know.
Does that relate to electromagnetism?
Well, I mean, the coil is cyclical, so you're generating things in cycles, and our life is in cycles. I mean, often I feel like I've been stuck in the Groundhog Day when I go to work.
Huh.
But the thing is, on the so-called spiritual plane, time is totally different to this plane. So like, say someone suddenly dies and they're like pushed into this spiritual plane, time doesn't exist there. So it's like they can haunt a house for sort of like hundreds of years and not realize, they don't seem to realize they're dead. And I think like they think they're dreaming. So like supposing I die, well, not me, but I don't want to die. Supposing someone dies and they're on this astral plane or whatever, and so of course they sort of think they're dreaming. So they come back and they try to sort of get the attention of their loved ones, and they think, why are my loved ones like ignoring me? And that's when they start throwing things around the room where you get poltergeist stuff. And it's not demons; it's like humans who've passed over, and they're just trying to get people's attention.
So do you think they're just waiting for the penny? Do you think some people it just takes longer for the penny to drop than others then?
I think so, yeah, because they think they're dreaming. That's what some of them have told me. They said, well, not told me, but it's obvious that they think they're dreaming. They think they're still alive on the physical plane, and they think they're dreaming. They think it's all a dream. So they think they're dreaming that they're visiting their loved ones and that, and in their familiar environment, but no one's taken any notice of them. And it's like, unless they twig that they're actually on another plane, that's when they start throwing things around and start doing poltergeist stuff. Children do that a lot.
But does something different needs to happen? Otherwise, they'd all be throwing stuff around, wouldn't they? So
yeah,
a
I think eventually
is something different to a regular ghost, then, isn't it?
Well, poltergeists are just human spirits trying to get our attention because they don't understand why we're not paying attention to them. And
I do wonder. We did talk about this in an earlier episode about telekinesis, and I was wondering if it's a latent ability. As I heard a lot of cases of poltergeist activity, there's a girl just entering pubescence in the house, and it's scary because they have a lot of energy and emotions which are new to them. And imagine like suddenly, oh look, there's objects flying across the room. wow, that's scary. And not
Yeah.
knowing you're the cause of those objects flying across the room.
And there's loads of cases, there's cases of policemen who've been like called to a house, and they go into the house and the big double-decker fridge is like rocking about, and like they put their hands on the fridge to stop it, and they take their hands off and it starts doing it again, and that defies the laws of physics. I mean, a big heavy double-decker fridge freezer that doesn't start rocking about on its own, does it? And there must be a force that's causing that. You know what I mean? But no one wants to believe it, do they? But there's so many cases of this happening. I mean, personally, when I was messing around with ritual magic, I was lying asleep, and as I woke up, I heard this like, I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I woke up, and like I had two candlesticks, like one on either side of the fire surround, and I swear to God, one of the candlesticks was like going. It wasn't like moving, but it was like vibrating at a very high rate, like. But the other one and everything else on the fire surround was completely still. But this one candlestick was just like vibrating, like from it. It was vibrating from the inside.
You sure it was a
Just
candlestick?
like vibrating. But it was making a noise.
I was going to say, it sounds like one of those situations you should have had a radio around and just tune in, see if you could hear anything on the bands.
Well, I just touched it and it stopped, and that was it. Nothing ever again. Just weird. But that defies the law of physics, because if that was like vibrating, everything else on the shelf on the fire surround should have been vibrating as well. But it was just that one candlestick. So,
not necessarily. You know about resonant frequency? Sorry, I'm eating a biscuit.
Go on, yeah.
So you know how like a soprano can cause glasses to shatter if she hits the right note. I think with your candlesticks, if they were made out of a different material to the fire surround, then maybe that's why they were picking up these vibrations, and everything else was still. I wonder if there's even a case like that with. We don't hear so much about these days, but spontaneous combustion.
That freaks me out.
If like somebody, for whatever processes, have just got the right resonant frequency, they've picked up some signals, and it's cooked them like a microwave to the point they burst into flames.
Yeah, but the thing is, with a candlestick, why would one do it and not the other one?
Have you ever played a musical instrument, a stringed musical instrument like a guitar?
Maybe they were tuned differently, sort of.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. You can make strings vibrate in harmony if you pluck one and the other's the right tone. In fact, that's how you tune a guitar. Is you pluck a string and then you put your finger on the 5th fret, unless it's the B string, you put it on the 4th fret. And when you see the string above it start to vibrate in harmony with it, you're in tune. Or those two strings are in tune.
Yeah, it's just weird waking up to that. Waking up to a vibrating candlestick.
Did it wake you up?
You sure a lady friend didn't leave it there?
No, it's just I woke up and this fucking candlestick's like vibrating on the. Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. Yeah. Should we play the old school? Shall I line the old school stuff? That's about a 10-minute segment. Konstantin Raudives, he was a Russian experimenter in EVP, and he wrote a book called Breakthrough. I think it was published in 1971. But when you bought the book, you got a 7-inch vinyl, 33 RPM EP with actual voice examples of EVP voices on it, which is so cool. Imagine in 1971, you can buy the nice hardback book and you get a 7-inch vinyl EP with it. And
someone in chat's got it, haven't they? Because we had this discussion before.
Yeah. That was re-released on a flexi disc with Phenomena magazine in the 1980s. I did a copy of that. But this is from the actual vinyl, what we're going to play now. Yeah. It's about 10 minutes long, but
right,
it shows you a lot
Which one am I playing?
Shows you Breakthrough 1.
Breakthrough 1. Hold on a sec.
And this shows a good range of actual EVP voices, which were obtained within a soundproofed room. And I think some of them were obtained within a Faraday cage. So, yeah, this is real shit.
The text spoken by the voices and the sound volume
This is 10 minutes.
are exactly the same as in the original recording. To help the air adapt itself.
Zero, there's 10 minutes of this. Do you want me to play it? What do you want me to play of it?
Should we play it? Oh, well, I don't know. Play it. See how we go, if you want to cut it off.
We can talk over it.
Anyway, to the strange rhythm, rapidity and softness of the voice entity's speech. Each utterance is repeated several times.
This is old school stuff.
The voices here selected are grouped according to the persons addressed and their respective answers, followed by a translation and explanation.
It's a bit formal, isn't it?
They are examples chosen to give the reader a breakthrough, an acoustic illustration of the material presented in the book. The listener is asked to read any text spoken in languages he does not know, with particular attention, so that he may be able to grasp each separate word phonetically.
That frequency in the background's a hell of a thing, isn't it?
That's good stuff, isn't it?
Please note the commentary that goes with each voice text, as the meaning of some utterances can only be understood in context with the situation that gave rise to them.
Is he parked up in an HGV while he's
The
doing
first voice is that of Margarete Petrowski, who had told the experimenter during her lifetime that she did not believe in an existence after death. After her passing, the experimenter asked her how she felt in the beyond, and a voice, identified as coming from Margarete, answered, "Bedenke, ich bin." German, imagine, I am.
Fucking
Again we hear Margarete Petrowski's voice, this time calling her former employer, Dr. Zenta Maurina. Zenta. Now the experimenter asks if Margarete can hear him, and a voice replies, "Kostja, ja." German, Kostja, yes. The voice then calls the experimenter's family name, Raudive, but shortens it to Raudiv. And now we hear in Latvian and German, Koste, tu tik na. Koste, you are so near.
Winston Churchill comes
Now
on
the
in a minute.
experimenter calls the Russian poet Vladimir Mayakovsky, and a voice answers, Mayakovsky.
Reminds me of Wish by the
The
Nine Inch
experimenter
Nails.
tells the poet
good.
how difficult it is to convince people of the reality of the voice phenomenon, and in reply comes a statement which is typical for Mayakovsky's personality. Konstantin, pluj. In Russian, Konstantin, spit on it. The experimenter talks to his former teacher, the Spanish philosopher Ortega y Gasset, and a voice calls out, Ortega. The experimenter asks whether the research into the voice phenomenon had any significance and whether it was based on firm foundations. The voice answers, "Entrollas muchas cuestiones." Spanish. You will solve many questions. A Latvian voice then breaks in with a statement that could be interpreted in various ways. It might mean, for instance, that the voice phenomenon research may benefit mankind, even if the process is a painful one. Tu laudis zadecina. Latvian. You are burning people. The experimenter addresses his former collaborator, the Swiss parapsychologist Professor Gebhard Frey. Beset by doubts, the experimenter begs Professor Frey to give his name, and a voice answers, Frey.
Right. Right. Right.
Then, in Swedish and German, Du sowas willst nicht glaube. You are sleeping. You do not want to believe. In another recording, the experimenter remarks that people do not believe in life after death, and a voice answers, So sind sie. German. That's how they are. The experimenter calls on Vitauts Simane, a friend who had died a short time before the recording was made, and receives the following answer. Danke, gute Morning. German and English. Thank you. Good morning. Then the friend gives his name, Vitauts Simane. After this comes a request. Prasicenta lai tala. Latvian and Swedish. Beg Zenta to speak. And then Musu Zenta Recisos. Latvian. Our center is the producer. Lastly, this voice says, Sie glaubt nicht. German. She does not believe. Once again, the experimenter addresses Professor Gebhard Frey and asks whether he thinks the voice phenomenon research necessary and what, in the professor's opinion, its final goal should be. A voice replies, "Oui, c'est nécessité." French and English. Yes, it's a necessity. The voice urges the experimenter. Konstantin, arbeiten. German, Konstantin, do work. The voice then calls Konstantin and lastly, Raudive.
It's totally rad. It's totally rad. That's not the best thing because the other side of the LP has got English voices on it. It's got like Hitler. Hitler appears on the EVP, and so does Winston Churchill. Yeah, we'll have to look forward to that. Yeah, it's totally rad, isn't it?
Do you want to do that now?
Well, we could do, yeah.
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
The following section deals with examples of voices grouped according to the various recording methods.
So these are more English ones.
With technical experts, the experimenter has evolved 6 different methods of recording. A. Microphone. B. Radio frequency. C. Frequency transmitter. D. Diode. E.
I love it.
Goniometer. And F. Psychophone. The reader will find details about the various types in the appropriate section.
This one's a bit Mr.
of
Chumley
Breakthrough.
Warner, isn't he? Good evening, Mr.
This is
Chumley
got-
Warner.
I love it.
Microphone voices.
I love it.
The experimenter states that in his opinion, man cannot grasp the events after death with his intellect or even with his intuition. A voice replies in German, kann. He can. At the end of a recording session, the experimenter says that he is tired. A voice comes in with Bonne Nacht. French and Swedish. Good night. A request by the experimenter that the voice entities should tell him from where they came is answered by a voice saying, Seelisches Land. German, Land of the Soul. Radio frequency voices. Professor Loritz, who was a close friend of the experimenter, promised that he would manifest, if possible, after death. We hear a voice say, Loritz, Pienax Klat. Latvian, Loritz will join. A female voice, probably Margarete Petrautsky's, says, Eine Nottote. German and English, one who is not dead. Frequency transmitter voices. Koste, tu te tova mote. This is Latgalian. Koste, here is your mother. Tetu raksnieks padot maju. Latvian. You are the author here. Give me a house. Diode voices. The voice of an entity whom the experimenter does not know, but who calls herself Agnes, a helper, probably remarks here on unfavorable recording conditions. Agnes, furchtbar slickt. German and Latvian. Agnes, terribly bad. A voice, later identified as that of a man who lived and died in a place called Kirnbach in the Black Forest, Germany, says, Wartet auf Walter von Kirnbach. German, wait for Walter from Kirnbach. A voice calls James Joyce. Now a voice, which may be Winston Churchill's, says, Mark you, make believe, my dear, yes.
Demand to make believe, my dear, yes. Demand to make believe, my dear, yes. Demand to make believe, my dear, yes. Demand to make believe, my dear, yes. Demand to make believe, my dear, yes.
Followed by Winston Churchill.
Churchill. Churchill.
The following sentence, heard at the end of a recording session, indicates that the voice entities have their own transmitting stations. What nun, gute Nacht von Zitadi. Russian and German. Now good night from Zitadi.
Goniometer voices. This recording method was developed by Theodor Rudolph, an electrical engineer specializing in high frequencies. He has himself recorded the following examples, which have been taken from a total of approximately 90 voice texts received by
Just to say, goniometer was
the
the only
voices
form
have
of
the
radar.
same characteristic.
Oh,
Sorry, paused it for you, Hobbit. What was that?
Oh, you don't need to pause it. Goniometers were an early form of radar. It was the thing what you tuned in order to signal from noise.
Okay,
I love the lo-fi.
It's
Actually,
no, it's not. It's the posh tutty. That's what you like. I
Yeah.
know this. I know this from the Number Station episode. You just like posh military totty, don't you?
Oh yeah, God, bit of
The
uniforms.
received
Yeah.
pronunciation is quite sublime. Yeah.
It's exciting.
So if MI6 sent you a nice bit of RP speaking totty, you just put. Your hands, would you?
Yeah. God, yeah. God,
I want some upper class toff to take me in.
Yeah.
God, yeah. God.
Dear. Right, I should pop this back on. We've got about 3.25 minutes. 3.25 minutes
features
left.
as those recorded by other methods. It is interesting to note that the voices in these examples speak mainly Russian and Latvian, two languages unknown to Mr. Rudolph. German is used more rarely. The texts have been deciphered by the experimenter after Mr. Rudolph had verified the experimenter's name and some German words.
A Russian voice says, On prosil bulku vo snie.
Он хотел и булку во сне. Он хотел и булку во сне. Он хотел и булку во сне. Он хотел и булку во сне.
He begged for bread in a dream. A statement referring to an acquaintance of the experimenter, whose name is Kankan, and probably meaning that life lasts but a moment. Tu stunda, Kankan.
Искуй до конца. Искуй до конца. Искуй до конца. Искуй до конца.
Latvian. You are but a moment, Kankan.
Psychophone voices. This method was evolved by Franz Seidel, electrical engineer from Vienna. His apparatus has produced some very plainly audible voices. These bear the same typical traits as all other voices recorded by different methods. Again, Russian and Latvian are the main languages used, together with some German, though Mr. Seidel also does not speak either Russian or Latvian.
The word flussigon, which is used in the following sentence, does not exist in the German language. It may be a corruption of the word fluidum, which means, in a symbolical sense, atmosphere or magnetism. The voice says, Du hast kein Flussigon. German. You have no Flussigon. Now a Latvian voice. Tauta mostjes. People, awake. And in answer to a question as to who is speaking, a voice replies, Toti. Distorted German. The dead.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. I thought Hitler was on it. I must have been
There's three,
hallucinating.
isn't there? There's three. Is it on the third one?
I don't know. No, that's Raymond Cass. I could have sworn Hitler was on this LP. I must have been hallucinating. Sorry, lads. I thought Hitler was on it. Hitler has been picked up on EVP, but that's not on this LP. So sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I just love the lo-fi creepiness of it. I mean, that gets my go.
Some of those are a bit.
It's
Some of those are a
that
bit.
claims to be Hitler.
It's a shame. It's a shame it's all in Latvia.
Some of those are a bit
Could've done with some
reminiscent
more.
of number stations, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. It's got the same weirdness, isn't it? Of the number
Yeah.
stations. Yeah. It's a shame there's not more in English. Yeah, but you know that's good old school stuff. Well, it shows the different like techniques used to get the voices, like the psychophone, all that sort of stuff.
I can't remember whether we discussed it or not, but there was an episode about mediumship, and I looked into the bloke in Italy who's got a valve radio.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
They put him into a Faraday cage. They took the valves out of it. There should be no way that this radio could operate. But as long as he was near it, it would turn on and it would pick
Isn't
up
that the
voices.
skull? Isn't that the skull test you were talking about?
That's part of that video, isn't it? It's mentioned the skull experiment.
Well,
yeah.
you'd know
And it
Skull. That's
mentioned
not
that
far from
manor.
where. That's not far from where you grew up, is it, Zero?
Yeah. Well, the skull experiment documentary is worth watching. Yeah, it's definitely worth watching. Yeah.
Yeah,
The thing which gets me about that.
Because I've stayed in Skull and there's absolutely zero phone signal there as well, so it's not a particularly available for signal place, is it?
That's probably why these spirits can get in, because they're not able to compete with man-made frequencies. I do wonder about that, you see, because, for example, in the case of if you've got a radio, you take out all the bits in it, what make it work, you put it inside a Faraday cage and it still works. I mean, in which case you might as well just say, well, this is a crystal ball, and it's working because it's picking up on the frequencies or the energy of people around it. But it should. I mean, if it can still pick things up inside a Faraday cage, to me that suggests that there is energy which is not on the EM spectrum, which can penetrate through a Faraday cage.
There must be, yeah. It's just like, because it's not just like spirits of the dead. I mean, aliens in inverted commas. I mean, they've been picked up through radio.
What,
there was
thetans?
that. Well, sort of like
Non-human entities.
There's a
that was
book
a
by
Scientology joke, Hobbit.
Yes, I've seen things on Scientology.
Yeah.
There's a book called The Sources Speak, published in 1954 by George Hunt Williamson and Alfred C. Bailey, and they claim that they were picking up spacecraft and aliens and other planets through the radio. So, I mean, how you either believe it or you don't, I suppose. But it's just weird, Like there's been cases of psychic questers who, they do a Ouija board. They do a Ouija board. They ask the Ouija board questions. They ask the Ouija board a question, but the answer came through in Morse code over shortwave radio. They had the Ouija board going, and they had a shortwave radio on the go as well. But they asked the Ouija board a question, but the answer would come through in Morse code. But it would come through. Well, that'd come through on every frequency on the shortwave, like whatever frequency you tuned into. This Morse code answer was coming.
Did we have a eulogy for Derek Akora? God rest him. Did you know he died a few weeks ago? Didn't he? We forgot about that. Yeah.
No, this was news to me. I mean,
but it was news to him as well. I think.
His spirit guide Sam didn't tell me he was dead.
Yeah. I just remember that one. Do you remember he was in that aircraft museum where Douglas Bader lost his legs? He said, "I've got someone coming through. It's Derek Bader. It's really shit like that. It was fucking bad."
God rest his soul. Yeah, good old. What's his name? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the chat says like Lacey Marie. Yeah, Lacey Marie would be a good EVP experimenter because she's in that altered state where that would sort of like come through.
That's one term for. That's one. You think she's on the schizophrenic spectrum? Is that what you're saying? Zero?
Well, she's in that altered state, and you got to be a bit altered, haven't you, to get into this stuff?
I would be remiss if I didn't do what Alabaster said. Mary loves Dick. Do you remember that one of?
Yeah.
Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick.
I gotta say, I remember some woman was telling me about auras, and she says she can spot someone with a crack habit because the top of the crown around the head is broken. And she says, yeah, that allows possession to happen because the spirits can just come in and infest their head.
Yeah, it's like shit shade, isn't it? It's like a sort of an insult in the New Age community when they say like you've got a shit coloured aura.
Yeah,
like shit shade. Yeah, that's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like imagine telling someone like you got a shit coloured aura. It's kind of horrible.
But I thought these New Age hippies were supposed to be all about peace and love. Why would they ever say something like that?
I never saw. Did anyone see the Derek Acorah Michael Jackson episode? I didn't see that.
I've got. What? I'm hearing smooth operator in my head for some reason.
I've got to take a comfort break, so I'll be back in a minute.
You see, Zero's learned how to be a proper broadcaster, Hobbit. You just say I'm going for a poo, don't you?
Yeah, these modern 21st century conventions of using euphemisms for things, I don't really understand it. It doesn't make sense to me.
While we're talking about the euphemism question, I've got a book. My dad's got it in a minute. It's called A Man About a Dog, and it's a book about nothing but euphemisms. So it's like a dictionary type format, and it's a euphemisms. Like most euphemisms are about either death or homosexuality. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, I guess those for the longest time were the two taboo subjects in our world.
So what we got in chat? Yeah, I'm not reading that out on a paranormal program.
It's we're trying to do something esoteric and here, and it's just like, guys, I don't appreciate this.
By the way, for anyone that's listening, I am moving the archive to its own channel, so I'm going to give 14 Words its own channel, and Land of Grub and Glory is going to get its own channel, and I'm going to archive there and then just use the main channel for streaming. I think is what I'm going to do.
Is there a podcast for Land of Grub and Glory?
Yeah. Same. Oh. It's at Anchor, same place.
So okay.
www.anchor.fm/Grub and Glory.
I'll have to add it to my thing and listen to myself, because I'm curious how I sounded on the guest microphones. It's
between bucket. It's between bucket and phone on quality.
Yeah, I did do we will be going back to Voices in the Void in a bit, but I did a reading for an Anal Cunt song, what doesn't have it on YouTube. So I didn't hear the original for inspiration. I just had to do it as best as I could. And I did it on the microphone. What was the title for it? Was something equally poignant, because a lot of Anal Cunt songs, they have very powerful titles to them. And I did that one. The thing I noticed on it, I was picking up hum.
Have you noticed have you noticed the Johnny Come Latelys are all piling in now? I'll take it the better stream has finished now, has it?
Well, they got bored with it.
Traitors.
But if you want an example of the guest microphone, it's called Anal Cunt. I made your kid get AIDS so you could watch it die.
Fucking hell, Harvey.
Well, like I said, I try to keep true to the source material, and they never sanitize themselves, so why should I?
Come on, EVP is fucking great. Like
it is.
It is like
we just needed a brief intermission where we weren't talking about paranormal stuff.
Yeah. It's just the thing with EVP.
Just did some housekeeping. I just mentioned the new channel and stuff like that.
With EVP, you've got to create the bridge. It's like there was the Eurosignal bridge. I think it was between 88 and 90 hertz on the FM band, and that's where everyone would tune in to these EVP voices. So you got to get that bridge on the go. If you want to experiment at home.
What you said, it's between 88 and 109 megahertz.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, here we go. No, between 87 and 90. So that was the Eurosignal bridge.
I was doing numerology jokes, Zero.
It's just like, what a fascinating thing.
To 109. It's been a long time since I used a radio.
106.
I think so. Yeah.
I think is it 106 or 107? Because you sometimes get bits that just go over 106. So no, it doesn't go as far as that.
Radio 4 is about 100 hertz, but you don't want to listen to Radio 4. Don't listen to Radio 4.
Radio 4 is 93 or 90, it's 93 or 96, isn't it?
It's 93 megahertz. Classic FM's 101.
Yeah.
I want to listen to Radio 4. I listened to it last. A non-white person reading the weather report, and that really annoyed me. I thought, like you know, I don't want to be like controversial here, but that just sort of like really irked me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
have the same. I particularly like Watership Down, and there's a modern adaptation of it which has none of the charm or spirit of the original animated show. And one of the voice actors sounds like a Bluey Black from Sub-Saharan Africa, and it makes my skin crawl. It's like if they were to do an animated show about hobbits and they get orcs and goblins to do the voices of the hobbits.
Because, I mean, you know, to be sort of blunt about it, I don't think many non-whites are really interested in weather. You know, it's more of like a British nautical thing, isn't it? So that really irked me that like that was...
It's a thing which I think we can address in the chat. I mean, no fun zone, and I am in two minds about this. I'm going to say I provisionally agree with him on this. He says, I'm willing to buy most paranormal and supernatural stuff, but EVP just feels like you convince yourself into hearing something that is not really there. Now, I want to go on and say something there. Have you ever looked up into... Well, there used to be a time we could look at clouds and there'd be clear, distinct shapes. But these days, it's either overcast or there's just like long streaks in the air which turn into overcast because of the geoengineering they've been doing to our skies for the past 20 years.
We can have the skeptic's eye view on EVP in a minute. Kaptain's joining us.
Is he?
Yeah, I just thought I'd spice it up because we're getting towards the end, Zero. Is there more you want to do?
Well, it's just like the thing with EVP, it's not all like up in the air, cloudy, new age, like oh my God, my shirt's rustled. That must be like a message from God. It's not like that at all. They say your actual, you know, imagine if you're an experimenter called John Smith and you're doing an EVP experiment and these voices say like, John Smith, hello, John Smith, you know.
Hello, Zero.
Mind you, in the thing what you're playing, a lot of those voices, it was just like, well, why are they going from one language to the other?
Yeah, polyglot, yeah.
And the thing is, I understand German, French, and English, so when I was listening to it, it's just like, that's a bit of a stretch. But I can appreciate it's like, okay, if they're spirits and they're disjointed, it's going to be a bit difficult to pick things up clearly anyway. So maybe I shouldn't be so sceptical. It's just I feel there is a bit of grasping at straws at this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to discount it because, like I said, it doesn't matter whether I believe in this or not. The Golden Dawn Society, which pioneered radio and television research, they did believe it.
No, I agree. When you got like they call it polyglot, when there's like two different languages in the same message, yeah, that is a bit thing. But
yeah, that does seem that does sound like a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but the English experimenters, they discredited all that. They said like, no, we're only going to accept like English voices who are very clear English voices and who
we're only accepting English voices. We're only accepting English voices that speak RP.
Well, they were based experimenters. You know, they said like, well, no, we can't accept like a message which is half Latin, half German, because obviously, yeah, you can make what you want of that, but no, it's straight English, Queen's English. That's what we want. Like,
yeah, no Scousers, no Brummies.
Yeah,
no Scousers,
no Brummies. This would be a good time to play the Raymond Cass bit because he was a British EVP researcher and he only accepted British voices.
Right,
Raymond Cass.
Raymond Cass, how long?
And he's great, Raymond.
This is Raymond and Ingrid. It's now nearly 6 o'clock on the 23rd of August, 1976, and we do invite our friends many of our friends who have communicated before, to speak to us on this channel of communication, to speak to us, to send their messages. We shall transcribe your voices, and if they're suitable, we'll publish them. So we're very happy to receive your voices, your singing, your music, and we especially welcome Constantine Rowdiver and his friend. Thank you. We'll have to decipher that. We're still here. We're packing up now to go back to Bridlington, and if there's someone here who is with us. If there's someone listening to us, watching us, well, we welcome them and we ask them to put their comments on tape.
Enough to take the edge off that.
Philip Larkin, where are you?
Jesus
Can
Christ.
you respond? Have you anything to say to your friends?
This is creepy.
The Heartless? Are you still tramping? I tried to convey to you, before you died, an indication of survival after death. But you didn't take my frequency. But you didn't.
After the passage of a few years, the paranormal voices became more structured and less weird. The voices indicated from the beginning that they had the technological means to monitor us in our daily lives, to listen to our conversations, and even to zero in into our environment and observe us, and even record material from that.
Is that an EVP zero? Because he said zero in, like he was talking to you.
Yes, is it? I love it, yeah.
Yeah. Public service
He also said tramping,
which might, as far as I know,
which is a HGV term.
And it's a cultured English.
Is it really?
Yeah, legit.
Claiming
I find it's a lot more interesting than just a few nonsense phrases which we heard before.
Sometimes takes part in the experiment.
I think Hobbit's a ghost because these EVPs sound like his mic set up.
A cultured English.
Thank you very much.
Who could fly and lick his farce off?
Oh, we missed the best bit now. Can we go back? Look at that. We can see Edith by radio. Isn't that creepy?
Jesus, that's
England by radio?
See Edith by radio.
That is creepy. Oh, is that it? Oh,
yeah.
God.
Who's Edith? His missus or something?
Well, yeah, we can see Edith by radio. There you go.
To me, it sounded a bit like he was saying, we can see England by radio.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like there's no sort of like hard and how do you say like what they're actually saying? You'd have to have like a committee, wouldn't it? You'd have to have a committee like that, like votes on what they're saying.
I don't think you should. I mean, you could put it into an analyzer for
yeah.
Oh fucking hell! Sorry, I've had a couple of beers. I'm very
voice print analyzer.
Yeah, like some kind of vocal analyzer or frequency spectrum analyzer or analysis, or perform analysis on there, and then you'd be able to isolate the vocal frequencies and eliminate all of the sort of background noise and have a really clear indication about what they're saying.
Yeah, man, I just have an open mind.
Yeah, but I've got a copy of Logic 10, mate, and a frequency spectrum analysis, so why don't we go all the way?
Yeah, but the thing is, these voices aren't actual radio station. It's not like BBC radio. These voices are unusual voices, like a news broadcast or things like that. They are like quite strange breakthroughs into whatever they're recording or whatever thing. So yeah, I'll just keep an open mind on it. You know, I mean, it could all be total bullshit. I'm totally open to that, but I don't think it is.
No, I'd quite like it if either myself or someone downloaded that, cleaned up, managed to get a WAV file of the original recordings or ACC or something like that, stuck it into Logic 10 or a DAW, digital audio workstation of your choice, and then cleaned up the audio to the point where we might actually hear what the vocals are or the spoken word is, of which then you could put it to a translator if it was foreign, and you'd be able to decipher what was being said.
You know, a fun thing you can do with the Spectrum analyzer, and I've seen a few people do this as a proof of concept.
Sorry. Sorry, mate. Oh, Jesus Christ!
You can get
that's beyond the grave. That one. Oh,
you can get a
Jesus Christ!
You can get a Spectrum analyzer. You can put a sound image in it, and you can actually generate images with the sound. And I'm hoping somebody can say, "Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about here."
They did that. They did that with what's it called? We did it for the Number Stations episode. Did it with shortwave, didn't they? They could send pictures by shortwave.
Yeah, SSTV, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, there's another technique where you can encode imagery into the actual sound file itself, and I don't think it's slow scan television. It's another thing itself. I'm going to mute myself whilst I type on the keyboard and see if I can find what it is I'm talking about.
That's scary. I don't want sound files going in the brain. That's kind of scary, isn't it?
What if your brain couldn't decipher what the sound files were? Then
I tried some of those. I tried some of those bone conducting headphones on the other day. They feel weird.
Yeah, I don't like it. That freaks me out.
Bone conducting headphones.
Yeah, literally. They hang over your ear, but the actual headphone part sits behind your ear on the bone on your skull, and and that's how you hear the music.
No, that sounds like a fad. That sounds like an absolute fad, because how would it be going into? So the sound waves are going into your cochlea.
It's the same technology as hearing aids. It's perfectly normal. I'd say perfectly normal, but it just feels fucking weird.
What happens when you got like speakers for earphones? You got a voice coil, and the voice coil is an electromagnetic coil, and the sound waves make it vibrate in certain ways. And that makes air vibrate, and then you can hear the sounds. And with bone conducting ones, because you see, with even tiny earphones, you've got a diaphragm connected to the voice cord, which makes the air move about. But with these bone conducting ones, they're using your bones as the diaphragm, and it causes them to vibrate. With people who've got deafness, they describe how remarkably loud the system is, because it's bypassing the bits of the ear, like the eardrum, which are all gummed up and don't work well. So they can hear things. I found out what it's called. There's a website called Photosounder, and it shows how you can turn an image into sound. And it's got other useful. I say useful features. It's got interesting features, like you can invert sound. So turning a sound upside down, bass sounds become treble and vice versa. You can do complex soundscapes using extreme time stretching. Because this is a thing. Nobody, I don't know if anybody's doing this, but it's fortunate that these EVPs are all speaking at the correct speeds. They never slow down or sped up. And it'd be interesting to see if somebody could slow down or speed up sounds from these things to see what they could hear.
That wouldn't be hard at all. You just need to slow the audio down in your particular DAW. That's not hard to do at all.
Yeah, well, you can do this with analog methods as well. The thing is, as long as you've got the patience to record a long stretch of audio and static and speed it up to see what happens. The bit which I'm sort of wondering about, and I've come up with this theory before, and they call it fractal complexity, where
Hobbit, do you know what
Yes.
binaural audio brainwashing is?
Oh yeah.
It's military.
So do I as well, but I'll
It's
let
military, isn't it? It's military technology, isn't it?
It's making me laugh because you'll see these. If you go on the porn rabbit hole, you'll see these hypnosis videos what use binaural sounds to do things, and you'll find all sorts of. It's a fairly popular niche genre, I'd say.
Well, it's military stuff, isn't it? It's military technology. It's like the human ear can only hear down to, isn't it? So
well, it can be weaponized, yes, but the actual technology itself is it takes part this strange phenomena where your brain will make up frequencies if what the left ear and the right ear
matches it, doesn't it? Yeah, it matches the frequency.
It does some sort of interpolation, and that's why binaural beats work, and it goes into the field of psychoacoustics, which is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. About the effects that different frequencies played in different volumes and quantities and places can have on the brain and your spatial imagery and the awareness of oneself. Absolutely.
That's what I was saying. Like the human ear can only hear up to 20 hertz of sound, but if you broadcast, say, a voice message, like, say, 16 hertz, the conscious ear wouldn't hear it. But I think the subconscious mind would pick that up.
Well, the human ear, it's got a frequency response of anything from 20 to 20 kilohertz. So,
well, I listened to an NPR podcast. I can't remember what it was called. There's one about people who have like done amazing things. On there, they had a blind guy who had learnt to use echolocation by clicking.
Oh, he clicks his fingers.
Oh, yes. No, it's a tongue. It's a tongue.
Yes,
click.
his tongue is.
I know of the same example. Essentially, this man has learnt to distinguish different materials and use echolocation in order to walk and pilot a bicycle. And it's actually a method that they teach to blind kids now.
Yeah, he teaches people how to do it now.
Mm.
Yeah.
So with two things I want to say about the physics of hearing is any frequencies below 100 hertz, it could be higher than this. You've got no directional response in it. The way we can hear directions in sound is there's a slight phase difference, in microseconds difference, where a sound wave reaches one ear before it hits the other. And your brain hears the difference in frequency from one to the other and goes, that sound's coming from that direction. And it's amazingly accurate. I mean, you can blindfold someone and you can make sounds in various places, ask them to point or to call out like a clock direction. And nine out of 10 people will get it right every single time. And my point about this with psychoacoustics is there's a field of study of how you don't just hear with your ears, but you also feel things in your body. That's interesting. But I was veering away from the subject of EVP because I wanted to talk about how... Oh, yeah, that's it. Fractal complexity. So originally I'm saying with fractal complexity as the humans, as white people, white men are able to look further into the universe and further into the microscopic world, we see more and more complex forms. And I don't think we'll ever find the fundamental building blocks, nor will we ever find the boundaries of our universe, because the more we look into certain spaces, the more we'll see. And my point with this is...
Believing there's a universe gay.
Yeah, I know. And if you're looking with EVP, that is, if you're studying this further and say you're going to do an experiment where you're like, I wonder if there's anything like which is time stretched where is actually you can't hear it because it's so slowed down, so you need to speed it up like 10 or 100 times faster than normal sound, you'll start to hear voices in there. And I think the reason you'll hear voices in there is because that's where your attention is going. And I think that's what's happening with these particle accelerators. Something appears because human attention is focused on it.
How about this one from How about this one from Hates Peach in the chat? He says, when I run my kitchen tap at the right rate, a stainless steel sink, the vibration makes me feel very, very scared so much if I've left the tap running at this rate by accident, I have to turn it off.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to say, because, like, when you're doing the when I do the washing up, I feel strange anyway. No, this is a serious point. Like,
this pertains to what I said earlier.
I'll mute my microphone.
No, like, if I can get this out, like, when you're at this kitchen sink and you're doing the washing up, I feel weird because the thing is, like, the kitchen sink is grounded, isn't it? Like, the electrics in a house, it's grounded. So
all your metalwork should be earth.
But the thing is, it's like grounding my mind. So I want to, like, go and lie down when I do the washing up, because, like, the electromagnetic thing, everything's being grounded. So when I do the washing up, I think, like, I want to lie down because everything's being grounded, isn't it, from the sink.
Do you ever get that feeling? Have you ever walked barefoot on grass? Because that should give you a similar feeling.
Yeah.
Then you're in contact with the earth. Because if you've got your hands in, because I'm thinking, if you've got a stone sink, then you don't have that effect. But of course, the plug in the bottom is metal, and the pipes underneath are metal, and the water's conductive. So if you stick your hands in there, you will be earthed that way as well.
Yeah.
This pertains to something I said earlier on in the show, where you were talking about that. Oh, that's it. That is, certain elements of our society have understood for a long time there are beneficial as well as detrimental frequencies. And that's why orchestras and sound was weaponized in the 1940s. And a lot of disinformation says it's Nazis that did it. It's like, so why was the Rockefeller Institute advocating for A equals 440 hertz and the Nazis? I mean, these two organizations, Rockefellers and Nazis, should be diametrically opposed. And yet they're both agreeing that, oh yeah, let's make A the most discordant sound that we can and not stick to what we've been using for centuries, which is somewhere between 412 and 432 hertz. Now, the point I want to mention in that is because Hate Speech says, when I run my kitchen tap at the right rate, stainless steel sink, the vibration makes me feel very scared. So much that if I have left the tap running at this rate by accident, I have to turn it off. I say scared, it's more a feeling of dread, like something bad's going to happen. I was in my mate's flat many years ago, and he had this awful tap in it. I mean, it was really shoddy construction, and it was a new build as well.
Hold on, there's a really, really bad joke in chat. Maybe it's Pipes from BBC's Ghostwatch. That's a bad one.
Mr. Pipes, yeah, that's terrifying.
You can get all sorts of knocks and weird whistly noises coming out of taps, and you run them at the certain certain frequencies. They make the hairs on the back of my neck stand up on end. What's that about?
I think that's a fear response. Probably something to do with the Fletcher-Munson curve, the frequency spectrum of human hearing. For example, we pick up 3 kilohertz massively. Think baby crying or twig snapping as part of a survival mechanism.
Is that? Who's that doctor I saw recently said that's what's killing us? It sounds over, is it 80 decibels or something like that? Or probably even less.
Because the world isn't that loud. The natural world isn't that loud, and we usually have a 6 dB, 5 to 6 dB increase in our ears, especially for certain frequencies. Now, the problem is that they have made the powers that be and inventors, in order to grab our attention, have made alarms such as car alarms and such like exactly at 3K, because it's right at the top of the Fletcher-Munson curve of human hearing. So we will hear that sound more strongly than a bass or than a treble, like a very high sound. But the problem is, hang on, right? Speciality subject now. The problem is that because we have become accustomed to hearing alarms and ringtones, such as your phone is usually programmed at 2.5 to 3.5K, to try and catch your attention, is that we have become dulled to the sound of 3K
this
to the
guy,
point where we're trying to ignore it.
Well, this guy was saying the entire, not quite the opposite of what you're saying, but he's saying the problem is that we haven't become accustomed to it. We're just living in a permanent state of stress, because these sounds are stuff like you say, twig snapping, baby crying, female screaming, kind of levels.
Yeah, they're very important, again, because they're survival mechanisms. They stop your young being killed when they're crying, and they alert you to danger in the field and in the bush and the forests when predators or other tribesmen and other groups might be trying to ambush you. These things are nature essentially trying to help you survive. However, because of, we live in large cities where everything's trying to get your attention, we're trying to black out the frequency that, pardon me, that is actually trying to assist you in your survival.
So, chaps, I've got things to say about both those things, because I studied noise pollution for a while, as it was more than a hobby. One of those hobbies which I managed to monetize. I
can imagine you roving the streets with a clipboard under your arm.
Well, it was more about designing certain things, and there's always people willing to pay a lot of money to have a calm and peaceful environment. Now, there's a less appreciated form of sound pressure level, because we use decibels, which is a logarithmic scale, but there's also the sound scale, which I think is much more useful, because it deals with how we hear things in terms of, like Kaptain mentions, there is a frequency curve response where certain sounds we're much more attuned to. Human speech being from 1 to 3 kilohertz, we hear much more than, say, anything above 10 kilohertz, which just sort of sounds like bats chirruping. Now, he's right about that, because when I hear like one of those piezo alarm clocks, even on the film, it just makes my blood go cold. But it's probably because all the trauma having to wake up at 7 in the morning going to school. I can't stand that. Now,
I don't have an alarm clock.
No.
I have a clock that vibrates, but that doesn't make a noise, because throughout my childhood, I probably broke 15 to 20 alarm clocks by throwing them at the wall. I have almost an allergic reaction to noises waking me up. It's just fuck the fuck off. I absolutely hate it. Which is why I had to sort of adjust accordingly in order to live a vaguely legal lifestyle. Where I don't just like destroy noises that take the piss.
I like to.
Speaking of noises that take the piss, Gray.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to mention about any certain person here?
I'm not done yet. I'm still not done about this thing about sounds and decibels. What Gray was saying is correct. Any sounds above 60 decibels cause elevated heart rate and stress responses. The world we live in these days is too fucking noisy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't remember who that doctor is, but I saw a video he did, and that was the gist of his argument. It's like that, and he was saying that's what modern life is doing to us. It's literally stressing us the fuck out.
Well, this would be the ideal time to drag it back to the woo-woo. If we could have the what is it, the pig EVP, where
pig EVP.
this was an EVP that says like, I have the body of a pig, and then he grunts. And have you got that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Queued up.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Got it.
Fuck, that actually sounds like a pig. And there is a fart in there as well, isn't there?
Look how this. There's far too much night.
There's an example of something that's been slowed down.
There's far too much naysaying going on. There's far too much naysaying going on.
We've got to get some woo-woo back into this show, haven't we?
We've got to be like total woo-woo here. Well, the last clip we've got is the actual video. Can you put the video on the chat? I mean, this is creepy.
Where's the link to it?
I don't care what anyone thinks about EVP. This is fucking creepy shit. Like this guy, weird Texas EVP. He does this stuff like quite regularly. And
where did you put it?
He's using.
Is it in the 14 words Telegram?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it should be a weird Texas EVP. I mean, this guy uses the Ghost Box, which is like an altered radio that's like been hacked to like scan up and down the frequencies. Oh god!
For me.
Hang on.
No Fun Zone says your drunk uncle mumbling ASMR. Yeah, that is my thoughts personified. Thank you, No Fun Zone.
We gotta watch this. This is like uncontrovertible weirdness. If I can,
uncontrovertible.
Uncontrovertible weirdness, yeah. Incontrovertible even. But what do I have to type in here? EVP. Hang on.
Oh god, I can't find it. Is it in the private? Is it in private DM or is it?
Yeah, it's in the Telegram. Get it, man. Oh my god, where is it? There we go. Yeah, I've got the link. Copy link.
Chuck it in general.
This is uncontrovertible stuff. Oh god, now my fucking thing's free. Oh,
its controvertibility shall not be abridged.
No, this is weird shit.
Shall not be infringed.
There you go. There you go. It's in general.
Right,
if you can put this in like the general chat, this is weird shit. And this is a guy using a Ghost Box. Weird Texas EVP. That's the name of his YouTube channel. And he's contacting UFOs through the radio, and this is what he got. Right.
So I've decided to film it, blah, blah, blah. Actually, I'm not going to play it here. I'm going to play it for the chat. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll stick it in there. Turn that back on. And then press play. So that should be running.
I ain't seeing it.
There's the text. The text is go. Does it start after the text?
There we go. Here we go. Put it on full screen. Yeah. Can you full screen it?
Is that showing full screen?
Yeah. Can you full screen it?
It should be.
There you go.
Watchers in this way.
This is weird shit. It's hard to decipher it because
I'm about to say until someone's cleaned up that audio.
Yeah, YouTube fucks with the sound.
That's one of those. You know what a spirit box is, don't you, Kaptain?
I heard about this.
Yeah, they sweep the FM or AM band, and you get bits of dialogue because of it.
And they get
yeah.
Oh God, it's finished. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it finished ages
Yeah,
ago.
I don't
Did
know.
you watch it on the stream?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought it was quite disturbing stuff. Yeah. Well, like you say, you upload a video to YouTube, it fucks with the sound, doesn't it? It compresses it, and fucks it about. So yeah. Well, I'm a believer, as the monkeys said. You know, I'm a believer. So
yeah. Is there not a trace of doubt in your mind? Are you in love?
No,
are you a believer?
It's not just stuff I've watched on YouTube. And I'm convinced.
If you tried,
I've done experiments where I've done EVP and someone said my full name through the radio. So, you know, I'm a believer. You know, I mean, it's just
and
like.
Then you saw her face.
Well, I wish I would. I wish I could.
I know the song.
Yeah,
it's a good song.
Captain's doing a bit. Right, so are we? Or do we have any more about this on the subject of EVPs?
No, I've got to say, I'm not some spasmo. Like, I believe everything I hear. I've got to have like proper evidence. But when you're doing an EVP experiment and someone says you're full over the radio, I mean that's quite hard to disprove. I've got the tape somewhere, but I can't remember where I've got the tape. So it's like done in, but nah.
Right, so we appear to have slowed down now. Are we done?
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing, isn't it? It's like, I'm not saying you personally, Kaptain, but you know, when people talk about psychic and stuff, they say like, well, why don't you come up with next week's lottery numbers or that? But people do that, but there's more to it than that. It's like, say I do a spell to sort of get loads of money. Yeah. And then say like a couple of weeks or a few days later, I'm going down this like dark alleyway and there's this old woman in front of me and she drops her purse. This lovely old woman, you know, she's going to the bank to sort of deposit her life savings, but she drops her, I've done a spell to get money and then she drops her purse and there's a big bulging purse.
But
it's like, do I pick it up?
Has that ever happened to you?
Well, no, but if I pick it up, like, what does that make me? You know, if I pick that up.
But then again, that reminds me of the plot to the book, The Monkey's Paw.
Yeah.
Where they said where he prays for a lot of money due to a 3 wishes type deal, and his son dies and he gets the life insurance.
Yeah,
well, that's
the Wishmaster.
Thing,
do you remember the Wishmaster? That was the same. Kid wishes for $1 million and his mum dies in a plane crash.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, if she drops her purse, I've done a spell to get money. She drops her purse, and it's like, if I don't pick it up, the demon who's brought this situation about, he's going to be insulted. So I've pissed off this demon. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's tricky stuff. You can't it's not a good idea to do stuff like that. I mean, that's if you believe in demons. I presume you don't, but I do. So it's like
that's fair enough. Oh, by the way, lads, I think I might have on my travels stumbled across a bit of ASMR nationalist woo-woo that might be prime. Or that's also, that's ASMR nationalist woo-woo that might be prime fodder for this podcast.
Demons are real. They go to Drag Queen Story Hour.
Yes.
Right, I think we're done now.
Yeah.
Right. So,
wait a minute. We got some fighting talk in the. This guy's full of shit. Who's saying this guy's full of shit?
Who
is full of shit?
Yeah, who knows?
I'm not full of shit.
Find out next week on the next episode of 14 Words.
I'm brimming full of intellectual discourse. Full of
Orgon
shit.
energy.
Yeah.
Right, so I've set up a 14 words YouTube account. I'm moving all the stuff over there from here. Going forward, I'll set up a Land of Grub and Glory YouTube. I'm gonna move everything over there, and then I'm just gonna use this channel primarily for streaming and then archiving elsewhere. So, good night all. It's good night for me, and it's good night for Zero.
I shout for you, EVP.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Kaptain, final word.
Is that a good idea?
Read books. Hobbit, final word.
Tits. No, breasts. boobs.
Definitely read books, though.
Remember, kids, don't do drugs.